You know when you just discover the devil's lettuce for the first time and you kind of get that micro addiction, like that stoner arc as a young 15-year-old kid, and you always end up smoking in like some vacant area or like a park and chill there for 2 hours because you're like scared of getting caught by your parents or you're scared of what they think of. Well, yeah, this story happened during that part of my life, like my peak stoner addiction. During my peak stoner addiction, I used to always hang out with my cousin, and like I would stay there like every week, like legitimately every weekend. I was either at one of my friend's house or my cousin's house, and I would stay there for like a few days. What we would end up doing for those few days was just like reefing it up. When I say reefing it up, like we were geeked 24/7, and obviously we didn't want to get caught by my aunt, aka his mom. So like we would always sneak out and like find these sketchy ass spots, right? He lived right in the ghetto, so I was always like a little paranoid. Like I kind of grew up in the countryside a little bit, so like I was always a little paranoid, there was always like some sketchy people doing sketchy stuff. So like we kind of decided to find a new spot eventually instead of living in the ruckus, and we ended up finding like a little 10-minute walk from his house. There was like a small little wooded area, like a small little woods, and so we ended up kind of just going there like every weekend. It was calm, we never got caught, there was no one, like we couldn't be paranoid. It was a hella beautiful, right? There's like trees, it's cinematic, it's just like we loved it. And we were never bothered, never followed. Like it was just the calmest spot ever. And now there's like a little time skip. Like we were maybe in August, now we're like in October, November. It's getting chilly outside, right? We're starting to wear little coats or whatever when we reefing it up, cuz that lighter ain't keeping us warm, you get what I mean? And every time we'd go there was always like there was always a backpack kind of chilling there, and we were like, oh, maybe it's like some homeless guy, and sometimes he goes there for like, I don't know, refuge or whatever. Maybe someone forgot it. We never really looked at it. Like we didn't care. It's a backpack in the woods, who gives a shit? Like I'm not gonna touch something that doesn't belong to me. I don't know where it's been, I don't know who it belongs to. I'm simply not interested. But then one day my cousin's kind of like, yo, like we've been coming here for like the past 4 weeks, and that backpack's just been chilling there. Like no one picked it up. Like it's been pretty much a month. No one's picked it up. No one's touched it. It didn't even move places. Like, aren't you a little curious, like what's in it? And then I was kind of like, yeah, sure, I guess. Like, what do you want to open it? And he's kind of like, yeah, we could just have a browse in it. Imagine if the guy has a bunch of herbs and spices, and we're like finding the holy grail. So we end up opening the bag, and at the surface layer, like there was really nothing interesting, like survival gear, pretty much, like knives, compasses, lighters, like some type of MRE pack, like it was just like nothing cool, just like, oh, someone's backpack, right? But then we dig at the bottom of the bag, and like this is where it's starting to get a little weird. There were a few little pill jars with like hairs, like dirt, like literal insects, dead insects, like toenail clippings. And when I say like a few pill jars, I don't mean like three. I mean like 6, 7. And like it was just a little eerie. Like it wasn't fully disgusting or fully like gory or whatever, but it was just like a little like, why? Who needs this? Why do you need it? Why do you do this? I was like, I don't know. Just strange. Like I tried to let it fly over my head. And right beside those pill jars, there's like little wooden effigies, like handmade little emblems, like in the Blair Witch Project, right? Like on some totally like scary shit. And then I was starting to get like a little like, ooh, now this is getting interesting. And with these little weird effigy trinkets or whatnot, there was this guy's notebook, which I looked at my cousin. I'm like, I'ma open this notebook. Hopefully, there's some cool in it. And nah, there was absolutely nothing. Like, absolutely nada. Like, it was some guy documenting his life, or like basically a journal. I couldn't understand half of what was going on. Like, the guy looked like he was going straight down a psychotic breakdown. Like I don't know if y'all ever tried to draw or write while doing some shrooms or whatever, but it looked like someone was just on a good heroic dose and just trying to write his life away. But like it wasn't anything like, oh, life is beautiful, or I my third eye has opened. It was more like low-key depressing. But obviously these things still belonged to someone, so my cousin and I packed everything up. We zipped up the backpack, we left it there, in case the owner would come back alive and I don't know, pick up his notebook. So a week has gone by this time, and we go back to our usual smoke spot when we finally catch up. But now the only difference is the backpack's gone. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, nah, this can't be no coincidence, yada yada yada. My cousin's like unfazed by it. He's just fiending. So he kind of calms me down and tells me, yeah, it's no big deal. It's a coincidence. And we start packing bowls, having a good time. There's probably smoke coming out from the woods. You get what I mean, like a little forest fire. And we just walk about, and I swear to God, the effigies we found in the backpack, they were scattered in the trees. I swear I'm getting like chills thinking about this. Like when I was walking in those woods, I'd never been so scared in my life. Like, I've watched the Blair Witch Projects, like the little effigies remind me directly to that movie. And luckily my cousin didn't see him, so I just didn't mention it to him, because I was like, oh man, I'm just going crazy. I didn't want to think about it. I was just getting like the chills, and I just like, it's whatever. I remember I found an excuse to my cousin so we could leave earlier. I was like, dude, can we go eat somewhere? Like, I didn't want to be in those woods. And from then on, the more and more we went in those woods, there was more effigies, or they would change places. And at some point, my cousin noticed, and he was like, yo, did you also notice these little, like, weird emblems? And I was like, dude, it's been a while, man. And they were, like, changing places, too. Like, they were almost following us. And mind you, all this lasted for, like, a few months. Like, the effigy started happening, like, in November. Now we, like, past December. We're, like, in January, like, mid-Canadian winter. It's cold as hell. There's snow everywhere. And every time we go, there's, like, footprints that lead to the woods, but there's no footprints in the woods. Like, we can never find them. But there's always effigies. Like, there's always little trinkets, like, following our footsteps. It's scary. I always tell my cousin, I'm like, dude, can we just find a new spot? Like, at this point, let's just go see your mother and just, like, smoke in her backyard or smoke in your room. I can't do this. I'm gonna have a heart attack someday. And, like, my cousin's always, like, trying to reassure me, like, oh, there's nothing, dude, it's normal, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, dude, I got an instinct of survival. I want to live, bro. I don't want to get killed because I'm out here smoking grass, bro. And some point during winter, I can't remember if it's in January or slightly past that, because I'm telling y'all, like, we went in those woods for a long time, and there was effigies for a long time. There was stuff being left there for us to find for a few months, like a long time. But at some point when we were walking to the woods, this is the scariest moment. And I swear, everything I'm saying is totally true. When we were walking to the woods one fateful night, there was this guy, like really cracked out looking guy, like, I don't know if he was cracked out or if he was mid psychosis, but like someone drugged out of their mind, that's just, they're speaking to each other and they're like contorting their bodies in weird ways you've never seen anyone ever do before. And as soon as we started getting within the perimeter of the woods, he started following us, yo. And he was still pretty far, but like I saw it, yo. I'm hyper perceptive. I saw it. I was like, I told my cousin, I'm like, let's head back. Let's try to head. I don't want to go in the woods with that person following us. Like, let's head back. So we end up kind of making a little detour, like away from the woods. And I swear, right when we get like far enough from the woods, the crackhead stopped speaking. They looked down. They stopped following us. And I'm like, I tell my cousin, I'm like, this smells fishy. I'm like, I'm puzzling the puzzle pieces together. I'm like, I'm telling him, like, remember all the effigies we saw, the crazy diary we read from, like, a while back. I'm just like, bro, can we find a new spot for today? And my cousin was not having it. He's like, he was fiending, and I was just like, yeah, bro, cool. So we wait for the crackhead to kind of vanish out of thin air, which he does at some point. And foolishly, we walk inside those woods. Obviously, as soon as I stepped inside those woods, I felt watched. I didn't like it. I was watching the effigies fly in the cold Canadian winter winds. My cousin was like, yo, pack me a bowl. So, like, I was kind of doing it, but I was, like, dropping everything because I was so, like, my hands were shaking. I was, like, scared. I was on edge. And, like, I keep on hearing, like, this little rustling noise in, like, the distance. Like, in the dead bushes, in the pine trees, like I just hear, like, I be hearing stuff, and I don't like it, I just hear snow, I hear trees moving. I'm telling my cousin, like, bro, finish your bowl, finish your puff, let's run on out of here, bro. I don't even want to stay here, it's spooky. My cousin is still like, yeah, that guy over there was really scary and all, but, like, bro, you don't worry, man, we're safe, like, everything's cool, bro, everything's cool. So, I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm just like, I try to listen to him, but I truly don't believe him, right? I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm gonna kill myself, like, I'm gonna die of a heart attack right now. And, like, really, 5 minutes, like, we're in the woods for like 5-10 minutes, like, not that long. And within those minutes, yo, within those rumblings, within all of that noise, all of that pure fear, I see in the distance, midnight distance, I see something moving. I flashed the flashlight, and the same crackhead was there just staring at us. Guys, I've never shat myself that fast, man. I never shat myself that much in my life. I got so scared. I just tapped my cousin's shoulder. We both looked at each other. We both looked straight. We both looked back at each other like on some Scooby-Doo shit. We didn't even say nothing. We just jolted on out of there, man. I didn't care, man. I had all my weed falling, bro. Like, the puff was still burning in the pipe, yo. Like, we were just running. And I don't know if y'all ever ran in some snow, but it's not easy, man. I was in my Jordans, yo. It was not easy, man. Like, I was sinking. I was scared. I was like, yo, like, I'm never stepping in those woods ever again. And luckily enough, like, we didn't get chased. Remember the last video I made? Like, that time we got chased by a crackhead. This time we didn't, right? I think it wasn't a crackhead this time. I think it was just a really mentally unstable person. But, like, I'm the scary thing is, it's not like the story itself, like what happened when we were in the woods. It's the accumulation of everything. We've been going there for like a few months by that time, and every time we go, there's footsteps that followed ours. There's effigies and homemade, like, little trinkets that follows our steps and where we hang out. There was diaries in a backpack left for us to find. And at some point, this person that's probably been watching us this whole time eventually shows up, and, like, we catch them watching us in the darkness, yo. I'm just saying, like, it's scary. And this story, it's true. Like that's the scariest part. Like, well, my three past stories were true as well, but this one is, like, in my opinion, the most wild one, because it's really just the accumulation of everything. And it's I still think back at it to this day, and I'm not scared of going in the woods, but I'm scared of doing something like chiefing in the woods, or just chilling in the woods for long enough, because every time I go somewhere nowadays, I feel watched. Like, I've never felt watched like that in the woods. Like, I've always been comfortable. I grew up with a woods in back of my house. Ever since then, I've felt watched, yo. Like, we got literally stalked. That's the thing. Like, we got stalked. Who knows what that person could have had in mind? Obviously, I don't think it's anything malicious, because if so, they would have done something a long time ago. But it's weird. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. No thanks, not for me. And, this was a slightly spooky story for Spooktober again. I love saying spooky stories. Like, horror stuff's just fun. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to like, and have y'all a beautiful, wonderful, amazing day.